Hello.
Recording in progress.
All right, so we'll come into that comfortable seated position, whether that's seated in your chair or maybe seated on a block or a blanket or just on the floor. We're gonna lengthen up through our spine. We're gonna allow our hands to start to rest, our shoulders to relax. I invite you to close your eyes or simply to soften your gaze. And as we sit and relax here, take a moment to check in with your posture. And then we'll begin to scan the body as we bring our awareness to any muscles or joints, noticing how the feet and toes are feeling, noticing any sensations, any achiness, any energies. And then drawing that awareness into the legs, through the knees, up into the hips, the abdomen, the torso and back. We'll notice the muscles and joints throughout the arms and hands, and the sensations of our neck and throat, into the jaw, the face, the ears, all the way up to the top of the head. And then as we turn inward, we'll start to notice anything going on in the mind, the thoughts, our emotions, even our energy level in this moment. Taking a moment to even notice your nervous system, how anxious or worried you might be feeling. And then see if you can accept everything that's going on in the body and the mind without pushing it away or judging it. Taking this moment to simply step back, to breathe into this space, and simply observe it all. And then begin to notice the breath itself. Noticing whether our breath is feeling high in the chest or it's a deep belly breath already. And then we'll start to fall into a square breath. Breathing in for a count of 4. Pausing at the top for our count of 4. Exhaling for a count of 4. And then pausing at the bottom for a count of 4. And continuing this cycle of breath, matching each segment of the breath at your own pace. Inhaling for 4. Pausing for 4. Exhaling for 4. Pausing for 4. Repeating that cycle. Either allowing the count to be a focus Releasing the count and letting the breath find its flow, matching each segment naturally. Acceptance can lead to change. Many of us first turn to our mindfulness practice, looking for change, to change our previously stressed or controlling or even numbing ways. But we must not meditate and use mindfulness looking for change. Instead, mindfulness requires an open and accepting heart to whatever is true about ourselves and the world around us in that very moment. Change can occur from that place of acceptance. For so long, I wouldn't accept when I was feeling anxious or depressed, and I would do everything I could to deny myself of those truths. But mindfulness and meditation helped me look anxiety and depression in the eye, acknowledge it, and accept that it was there. Meet it with kindness. And then on its own, it began to transform. As we take just a few more breaths in this grounding meditation, can you sense what is true about you in this moment? And as you breathe, rather than trying to change, see if you can soften and allow it to be. Amazing job today. We'll begin to find our natural breath, releasing the square breath if you haven't already. And then take a moment to hold and thank your body for what it was able to do yesterday. And then release that. So that way you can know and hold space for what is true today in this moment and what you can build for the future. We'll then begin to find a little bit of a sway at the hips, allowing your shoulders to lean from one side to the other, maybe even allowing your hands to fall down by the side. You can allow your eyes to open whenever you're ready, since we're adding a little bit of movement into our practice. And then as we continue to sway a little left to right, allow your arms to come up to the side and snake their way slowly towards the sky until you're doing your own very own version of the wacky inflatable arm guy right there in your own space. Feeling maybe just a little bit silly, but noticing how this feels through this body, through the spine, through the arms, through the neck. Let it all be fluid for just a moment. And then with our next inhale, find stillness. Inhale to grow just a little bit taller, reaching the fingertips up. And then with our exhale, we're going to turn towards the right. And always bring that left hand inside the left leg or outside the right leg. As you turn towards the right shoulder, you'll bring your right hand behind you, pressing into it to lengthen the spine up on our inhale. And soften on your exhale. Beautiful job. Come back through center. Inhale, reach those arms up. Maybe give it a little jiggle and wiggle. Inhale to find stillness. Exhale to twist it towards the left. Feel your breath here. Allow yourself to accept and soften into the twist. And then with our inhale, we start to come back through center with a little jiggle and wiggle. And then let's drop the right hand outside of the right hip to the floor, to the chair or prop. So we lean over towards the right. And if the shoulder is ever feeling like it's a bit tight and it's not loving this above the head action, you can always bring it in front of the torso and reach it that way as well. So we'll still get a side bend, whichever variation you're choosing to take today. All right, inhale and wiggle and jiggle your way back through center. Inhale for length. And exhale, lean to the left. Great job. Inhale to come back through center. One last wiggly moment. And with our exhale, let's begin to drop our hands through a prayer at heart center. Bring our hands back behind us to the chair or to the floor. Pressing into the hands, we lift our heart, start to lift our gaze and squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other. Lovely heart opening there. All right, on our exhale, let's release that, bringing our hands towards our knees, or take our seated pose. If you're taking a crisscross, go ahead and switch the cross of the legs, balancing out here for just a moment. And then as we inhale, we'll start to pull our heart forward, taking a seated cat-cow movement. And then as we exhale, we'll start to round the spine back and away from us. Now we'll start to find that square breath with our movement. Inhaling to pull the heart forward to our count of 4, reaching the apex. We pause for a count of 4. Then we exhale for a count of 4, moving the spine back, curling chin to chest. And when we can't curl anymore, we pause for a count of 4. Matching your breath to your movement. Noticing how the spine is moving today. Go ahead and inhale to come back to your straight spine. If you're taking floor exercises, go ahead and come on to tabletop pose. If you're seated in the chair, we're going to stay in our seated mountain. From here, we're going to come into our variation of child's pose. So if you're on the floor and you're in a tabletop, go ahead and send those hands forward. Start to drop the forehead and torso towards the mat. For taking our chair poses today, we're going to inhale, maybe take the arms overhead to lean into this. And then as you exhale, bring hands to either your legs, reach them down towards your feet, and start to lean your torso towards your legs, curling chin into chest. Now, wherever you're at in this child's pose, begin to notice how the spine is feeling, how the back is feeling, maybe the neck. And we're gonna find a little bit of gentle movement here. So with our inhale, we'll return to either a tabletop on our knees and hands or a seated mountain. And if we're raising our hands, go ahead and lift them up and overhead. All righty. If you're taking the floor version, you'll move between your cow, rounding through your spine. And then sink it into your cat pose. I got that backwards, I'm so sorry. All right, so we'll come back to our tabletop and then let's lengthen out into our child's pose. As we inhale, we come up through a rounded cat and then drop the belly into cow. Exhale back into child's pose. Continue that 4-part movement at your own pace. And if you're taking it from the chair version, you'll come from that arms up position, exhaling to hinge into your seated child's pose, tucking chin to chest and curling, and then rounding through your cat pose, inhaling arms up. And continue that cycle at your own pace. Whichever variation you're taking, take it just 1 or 2 more cycles of breath, allowing the flow of your movement and accepting whatever is there in this moment. Beautiful. With your next exhale, we'll settle into your variation of child's pose, whether it's seated or on the mat. But go ahead and allow the knees to come out a little bit wider as you start to settle into your child's pose. Maybe you find a little sway at the hips as well here. Whenever you want to, feel free to settle into some stillness. And take 2 more breaths. Allowing yourself to surrender and maybe accept however this feels in this moment. Beautiful job. With our next inhale, we'll find our way into our first standing mountain pose. Getting there in your own time, in your own way. We come to our mountain, we stand up tall, and let's inhale and circle those arms up and overhead, reach them up. And then with our exhale, we'll drop our right hand to our hip or maybe to our prop. As we lean over towards the right, we'll shoot the left hip over to the left side. Inhale, come back through center, exhale over to the left. So we inhale, we come back through center, and with our exhale, we're gonna float the hands down, but allow your palms to flip as you do, pressing the air away from you, and then allow your hands to come behind your spine, taking the bind of your choice, either opposite hands, opposite wrist, opposite elbows, simply grabbing your shirt and dragging it down, or if you like to use a yoga strap or something long and skinny, can always take that behind the back. But we're rolling our shoulder blades towards each other. We're lifting the heart. We're lifting our gaze. We're squeezing the shoulder blades and dragging the knuckles towards the mat as much as is possible. And then as you're ready, start to bend through the knees and take a forward fold here, letting the torso come down towards the legs. Now you're always welcome to keep those hands on your hips or start to lift the hands coming into a bit more of a shoulder stretch. And if you're feeling a little bit tight and would like a little more support, you can always drop your hands, releasing them to your hips or to a prop. We'll make sure we'll have a gentle bend in our knees, but we'll take some movement through the neck. Noticing how that's feeling today. With our next exhale, if your hands are lifted off your hips, we'll release them down to our hips. And then we'll all release our hands down to either the floor, our legs, or top of our choice. And then as we press into our hands, we lift into a full halfway lift. Keeping the gaze down, gauging through our core. Exhale to release, forward fold, bend the knees, sink the hips. Inhale, tall mountain, reaching it all the way up. And then with our exhale, let's bring it down through a prayer pose into our mountain. Take a moment simply to notice the body, the posture, the sensations. You're doing a great job. Alrighty, from our mountain pose, we're gonna come into a lunge position. Go ahead and step the left foot back, bend through both knees, keep the hands on the hips, on your prop, maybe bring them to a prayer, or maybe send them up high into the air. We're gonna squeeze our thighs together, pull our core in, making it tight. Doing a beautiful job here. And now with your next exhale, go ahead and drop your hands towards a prayer pose or towards your prop if you're using a prop for support. And we're going to take it into a twist. So you can take your left hand to your right knee and your right hand behind you. You could take it to your prop as well. Or if you want to come and keep that prayer pose, you can put an elbow on the chair or the prop as you twist into your lunge twist. Beautiful job. Go ahead and bring it back through center and then step that back, left foot in. And then let's change that to stepping left foot back or right foot back. Inhale, maybe lift the arms. Find your balance. If you're finding you're wobbly, widen your stance. Keep a bend in both knees. You're doing great. Exhale, hands to prayer at heart center. Exhale, find your twist to the left. Inhale to come back through center. Exhale to step it back in. Beautiful job. All right, from here, we're going to take a downward dog variation. So you're welcome to come down onto your mat. On your downward dog, you can use your wall. You're going to use your chair. Make sure it's pressed up against a surface so that way it's feeling very supportive for this variation of downward dog. We're going to make sure our hands are about shoulder distance apart. We're walking our feet back so that we're in a bit of a V shape, allowing our head to drip between our arms. And as you settle into your first downward dog, take a few moments to pedal through the legs, shifting the weight, making any movement that you would like here. All right, let's go ahead and find some stillness on your next exhale. And then as we inhale, shift your weight to the left foot and begin to lift your right toes off the mat for a three-legged dog. Those toes can come off the mat just a little bit, or they can come all the way off the mat. If you're feeling a little out of balance, you can always keep a toe on the mat as well. Great job. Now let's start to bend that right knee and open and stack the hips. Great job. Go ahead and send it back out long.
three-legged dog. And with our inhale, we're gonna bring that right knee in towards our nose, rounding through the spine. And then with our exhale, send that right leg over to the left side. As we come into a fallen triangle, we'll let the right leg rest on the left side of the room, on the side of the foot, stretching through that IT band as you pull your hips away. Beautiful job. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, release, downward dog. All right, let's take that second side. Inhale, lift, three-legged dog. Bend the left knee, open the hip and stack it. Inhale to come back through center. Three-legged dog. Inhale, knee to nose. And then shoot that left leg over to the right side, finding the side of the foot, stretching through that outer leg as you continue to press into your hands and pull your hips back and away. Beautiful. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Now from here, let's go ahead and roll through to a plank pose. So we bring ourselves to a straight spine. You can come down onto your knees as well for half plank. Your wrists are in line with your shoulders. And there's a little bit of lean if you're at the wall so that you're putting weight into that. And this is why I had asked to have it prop against a steady surface since we're putting our weight into this. But loading our wrist joints, loading our elbow joints, loading our shoulder joints are all so important in building strength. We're gonna hold this for another 5, 4, 3, 2. And on the 1, if you're taking floor exercises, go ahead and lower all the way down to the mat, sliding hands under shoulders. If you're taking standing postures, walk yourself in as close to your prop as you can. We'll all press into our hands as we start to peel the shoulders up. We take our gaze out and up. Taking that back bend of standing or grounded cobra. Exhale to release, forehead back to the floor or to your wall or wherever you're at, straight spine. And then as we inhale, we'll find our way coming back into our standing mountain in your own time. In your own way. Now, as we're moving through our postures today, can you accept where your body is, how it's moving, how it feels? Come back into your mountain pose. We'll inhale, circle both arms up and overhead. Let's step that left foot back. Drop the right hand on the right hip. And then let's take it over to a lean to the right. Inhale to bring it back. Step the left foot in, right foot back, right arm up, lean to the left. Inhale to come back through center, step both feet in, both arms up, look up. Exhale, drop the hands behind the spine. Take the funny grip this time. So if that's a different thumb on top or switching it up in some way, just taking it in a slightly different direction. Knuckles down, gaze up. Exhale, hinge into your forward fold. Hands lift, stay, or lower.
Exhale, release. Inhale, halfway lift. Beautiful job. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend the knees, sink the hips, tall mountain. Exhale, draw it down through heart center into your mouth. All right, from here, we're gonna step the left foot back. We're gonna take it into a warrior one. So we're gonna take the toes out to the side, the heel slightly in, and then turn the hips so they're facing that front knee and bring a bend into that front knee. Again, make sure you're on railroads and not a balance beam here, making space for your body. Hands can rest on your prop, come to your heart, or lift up into the air. And then as we exhale, let's take our left hand, we're gonna bring it back to our left hip. You can keep it there, or you can slide it down that back leg as we reverse our warrior. Inhale to come back through center. Exhale, straighten both legs, hinge in a pyramid pose over that front leg. Inhale, come back through your warrior one, and then step the back foot in. Let's try second side, right side steps back. Inhale, warrior one. You know where we're going, so find your breath here. Notice where the body is compared to how the other side felt. And see if you can accept that. Exhale, reverse your warrior. Inhale, warrior one. Straighten both legs. Exhale, hinge and forward fold. Great double bend through that front knee. Step the back foot in. Alrighty, we're gonna build just a little bit more strength in our lower body. We're gonna step first side back, left side back into high lunge. So coming back to that first option, take your time setting up your foundation. Pull those thighs together, engage your core. You can always keep your hands on your prop, or maybe you lift them up in the air here. Our next exhale, see if you can bend into both knees a little bit deeper. And then with our inhale, I want you to straighten both legs and allow your hands to flip the palms, pressing the air away from you as you circle them down towards your hips. And then inhale, flip the palms, bring them back up and overhead. We'll take this movement at your own pace, fast or slow, deep or shallow, matching breath to movement, finding that 4-part breath. Beautiful job. Last time. Inhale, high crescent lunge. Exhale, step it in. Great job. Feel free to take any movement your body needs. And then let's take second side when you're ready. Stepping opposite foot back. We take a moment to set up our foundation. If anything's not feeling right, ask yourself how you can make it feel better. And then, of course, simply choose to do that anytime in any movement, whether here on your mat or in life. When you're ready, maybe lift arms overhead. Squeezing those thighs together, engaging through your core. This is your last big push. Inhale. Exhale. Find your breath. Find your movement. Deep
and shallow. Or fast or slow. As you and your energy level. And your breath want in this moment. Doing a great job. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, step it in. Great job. Alrighty, feel free to take any movement your body needs. We'll come back and do our mountain pose. Let's come back to first side. We're gonna step the left side back. High crescent lunge. Inhale, arms up and overhead. As we exhale, I want us to drop our hands onto a prop, either high, medium, or low. So maybe you're using blocks and you come down to a low lunge. You can even drop that back knee if that feels like a great option for you. And today you can stay a little bit higher if that feels good for you, or a little higher. But we're bending into a slightly deeper lunge here with our hands resting on a prop of our choice. With our next inhale, I want us to leave our left hand on whatever prop we've chosen, and then start to circle the right hand into a twist back behind us or up towards the ceiling. Now, as you pause here for just a moment, I want you to look at that front bent knee and start to will it a little straighter. And then we're going to take our lifted arm and start to take a few circles here through that shoulder joint, moving just as fast or as slow as feels good to us in this moment. And then reverse that circle. Exhale, both hands come back. Your variation of your lunge, your low lunge. And then inhale to step the back foot in, forward fold. Notice how the body feels. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, tall mountain. Exhale, bring it down through a prayer. All right, we'll take that second side. So step the right foot back. We set up for that deep lunge. Again, you can be all the way down on the knee. You could be up just a little bit on blocks at any height. You could be on any of your chair settings. So you're in this lower lunge here. You're noticing how it feels on this side. We're making sure you're not on a balance beam. All right, we're going to leave our right hand on the prop. We're going to start to spiral the left hand behind us. Now look at that bent knee in the front and begin to will it a little straighter. It doesn't have to be exactly straight, but working it as straight as feels good for your body. And then start to explore the left shoulder, taking it in bigger little circles. And then reverse it. Great job. Drop both hands on your exhale, bend through that front knee, step the back foot in, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold.
Inhale, tall mountain, last time around. Exhale, bring it down through a prayer into your mountain pose. All righty. You're taking chair variations here. Go ahead and stand in front of your chair. And if you're not, stand in the center of your space. As we inhale, we'll let our arms rise up, and as we exhale, we'll bring them down through a prayer as we begin to bend into our knees and sink into our hips in a chair pose, hovering just above the chair or in the middle of your space. Your next exhale, see if you can sink it a little bit lower, keeping the spine really straight though. Great job. With our next exhale, we're going to take it into a twist. You can bring the left hand to either knee and then the right hand behind you. You could keep that prayer variation if that's part of your practice. If you're taking chair variations and you just feel like it's a little too intense today, always welcome to come down, sit in your chair, and just simply bring your feet a little bit behind your knees, getting that same, but taking a little bit out of the balance. We'll take just another breath here. Inhale through center. You can come out and take a break before you settle back in, and then let's twist it to the left. Taking right hand to either knee, or keeping in your prayer pose as you twist to the left. Great job. Inhale back through center. Exhale, begin to bend deeper into the knees, sinking down into a toe stand. If you're taking chair or standing or seated poses on the floor, and sitting in your chair, if you're seated, going into your chair. And then let's exhale to come down into a comfortable, easy seated position, either in our chair or on the floor. Noticing the energy of the body. We'll take our left hand, we'll bring it into our inner right palm. We'll begin to press the thumb into the ball of our hand in a massaging motion of our own choice, moving it around the outside into the knuckles. Really allow yourself to give everything a good massage. After loading all of our joints today, just give them a little self-love here. Moving down into the wrist and even up through the forearm, all the way up to the elbow on the right arm. And then switching over to the left arm whenever you're ready. Little self-care, little self-love here. And if it feels a little funky, seeing if you can accept whatever feelings you are feeling and just breathe through them. And then maybe give your arms a shake and a wiggle. Take your right palm out in front of you. We'll take an inhale as we move finger through finger, pulling it back, and then exhale to release. One finger at a time. On the right hand. When you reach the thumb, take it out to the side and back versus down. And then at your own pace, switch to the left hand, finger by finger. And maybe give it a shake or a wiggle. And then we'll come into our variation of child's pose. So if you're on the mat, take the knees wide, sink the forehead down. Maybe bring your bolster and allow it to rest here in a restorative child's pose. And if you're in your chair, same thing. If you have a pillow, feel free to grab it, bring it onto your lap and roll your torso over. And if you don't have a pillow nearby, that's okay. You can just simply bring your torso down onto your legs. Hands can stay on knees, or you can reach them down towards your toes or feet. Take just a few breaths here as you notice how your body is feeling in this moment. As we move into our more restorative part of our practice, we'll hold the poses just a little bit longer. We'll go ahead and move our pillow if we're using one, or just simply our body over towards the right side. Adding a side bend into our child's pose. You can always bring the left hand on top of the right hand if that feels like a great option in your body. And then we'll walk our hands over to the left side of our mat or our legs. Leaning in one more time. Beautiful. Let's come back through center and we'll add a thread the needle here. So taking the left arm, bringing it across the torso. If you're on the mat, go ahead and allow that left shoulder to come down towards the mat. Maybe the left ear comes down towards the mat or towards a prop. And then send the right arm back out into that child's pose, really lengthening it here. And if you're taking this from a seated variation, you'll come back up to a straight spine. Take that left arm across the torso and hug it in with your right hand. You can also bring a bend into that left elbow and bring your hand to your shoulder, allowing your right arm to gently pull through that shoulder. So finding whatever shoulder stretch here feels the best for you. We'll take one more breath here. Exhale to release, coming through center. And then let's take the right arm across the torso, taking whatever modifications we took on the other side, noticing our body and making any adjustments for this side and what it wants or needs. Great job. So we exhale to release. We'll come back onto our backs, or we'll come onto our backs for the first time, actually, if we are on the mat. We'll stay in our seated mountain pose if we're on the chair. And let's curl into a ball, starting to bring our torso towards our knees or our knees towards our torso. And then give a little rock, left to right, wherever you're at. Massaging your glutes if you're in the chair, and massaging your back if you're on the floor. Give it one more squeeze, find a little bit of stillness. And with your exhale, let's release into our final resting pose. Now you're always welcome to come into a constructive rest or a corpse pose. You could also stay in your chair and find a more comfortable space in your surroundings to rest. Our goal is really to find a way to keep our spine straight and allow our body to come into a place of relaxation. We'll make any final movements so that our bodies can start to find a moment of complete relaxation on command. As we settle in, we can allow our eyes to close, and maybe we simply just soften our gaze, knowing that any movement is always welcome, as long as it feels like rest in this moment. We'll take a full breath in We'll pause at the top. As we exhale, we'll allow ourselves to transition inward. We'll feel the support of the surfaces we're resting on, knowing that we can fully support ourselves here as well. Breathing in and breathing out. Allowing your breath to become a little bit more rhythmic and intentional. Begin to let go physically, mentally, emotionally. Notice if you have any tension or if you're trying hard to be here. And allow those areas to grow heavier as you surrender and accept anything with these final few minutes of class. As we continue to breathe deeply, we'll start to explore the power of acceptance and how it can pave the way for positive change in ourselves and in our relationships. Begin by bringing awareness to yourself. Notice any judgments or criticisms that start to arise. With each inhale, allow yourself to breathe in with self-compassion and acceptance. And with each exhale, releasing self-doubt, judgment, and negative self-speak. Understanding that you are worthy of love and kindness, just as you are in this very moment. Embrace your strengths and your weaknesses, knowing that they make you unique and whole. And we'll start to expand our awareness to include others in our life. Take a moment to reflect on the diversity of cultures, of beliefs, and of perspectives of the people you cherish the most. With an open heart and an open mind, can you acknowledge the beauty in this diversity? Letting go of any prejudices or preconceptions. And cultivate empathy and understanding instead. Realizing that acceptance of others enriches our own lives and fosters harmony in our communities. Now we shift our focus to the aspects of our life that are beyond our control. Begin to notice any resistance or frustration that arises when faced with these circumstances. With each breath, can you surrender to the present moment and let go of the need to control the outcomes? trust in the natural flow of life? And can you have faith that everything happens for a reason? Can you embrace a sense of peace and serenity, knowing that acceptance of what cannot be changed opens the door for new possibilities and growth? As we draw this meditation towards its conclusion, take a moment to reflect on how acceptance can lead to transformation in your life. By accepting yourself, others, and what you cannot change, you pave the way for your healing, growth, and positive energy changes. Can you carry the sense of acceptance with you as you move through your day and week, knowing that it has the power to uplift and empower you and those around you? Can you take time to sit with any thoughts or feelings that have arisen during this time today? And remember that acceptance is a practice that unfolds over time. Take the deepest breath of our day so far. When you're ready, gently open your eyes and return to this present moment. As you take a few more deep breaths, maybe carry these feelings of acceptance or peace with you as you continue your journey. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day. Until next time, thank you.